Okay.
Recording in progress.
Andrew, can you see if anyone's from the public comment? Anyone in there?
Yes, we have one cam and one attendee.
Does that attendee have a hand up? Any questions?
No hands raised.
Okay.
Looks like we have one hand raised from Kyle Johnson.
All right. You want to hear what he has to say? You want to elevate him? We'll see
Sure.
what-
All right, let me promote. Okay, looks like Kyle should be on. Want to unmute?
Oh, there we go. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great, thanks. Yeah, I'm sorry, I may not have anything very relevant to say. I happened to only get into the meeting a moment ago, so I missed the first part. So I really just wanted to say one of the reasons I'm one of the abutting one of the abutters to the Lynch project.
Okay.
And at some point, I think in the near future, we're going to be talking about landscaping. And maybe other issues that I'd be interested in, but landscaping in particular. And if that's happening today, or if it's not happening today, I guess I'd be curious about some update on that conversation.
It is not on the agenda for today, any landscape. I don't know if there is any landscape on the agenda or any update. And Andy, do you know if there's anything we should be aware of?
That there's no landscaping update today. Is there anything specific that Kyle was looking for?
Oh, well, I mean, just some assurances that there is going to be a conversation, and soon, since the school will be built soon and there'll be kids there, and I think, you know, we've had conversations in the past indicating that we would have landscaping, a plan for landscaping complete at some point soon. And so just trying to check in to see when, like, sort of what the timetable for that is.
Yeah, Jay, if I might.
Yes, please.
Hi, Kyle. This is Meg White. We've corresponded. I think I've corresponded with
my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do owe you an email to set up we are going to have a site meeting to look at the plan and look at the plantings along the parking lot there. Just sort of waiting for the weather to get a little bit better, but I am planning to do that. And so you'll see an email from me in the next week or two setting that up.
Okay. Oh, and you're suggesting that we do that like here on site?
I think it'd be best.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's better to be out there to see what you're seeing from your property. And we can look at the plan, and we'll have the landscape architect with us. And we can talk about, you know, what's planned, and if that doesn't seem like it's gonna answer all your questions or meet your needs, we can certainly look at other options.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, Meg.
Chris, did you have a comment also on that? I saw your hand up.
Yeah, Meg said just what I was going to. I think we had a sidebar conversation with Chris Sharkey about getting some updated drawings, not 3D renderings per se, but maybe some updated drawings from Warner Larson so that we could share with the butters. I mean, Mr. Johnson, I don't think is the only one who's interested in kind of how that's all going to flush out.
Right.
So I think it's good. Meg hit it very well.
Okay.
I think there's probably yeah, I know. Actually, it's funny. You mentioned, yes, there are other people nearby here who have concerns as well or interest in it, and so I should probably speak for them too. I know an interest on the street. I don't know why I'm less interested, but plans also for the any kind of road work or, you know, curb work that we have upcoming. And I know that I mean, my understanding is that's kind of in a way separate from the school project itself, but I think since it seems to be kind of integral to like how things work all the way around, probably there's an interest in this group too.
And so, Jay, on that note, you know, early on, I mean, during really feasibility, maybe at the end of feasibility, there had been some discussion with the abutters on that side of the site about where the limit of work would be. And I think some residents had questioned whether we would be putting in granite curb, at least on the Lynch side of the street. And I think that question has come up again here recently. I think Matt Schuman has been seen out there with Bob as part of just roads and sidewalks planning. So I know a question from at least one abutter came to me last week asking if there is interest and ability to pick up curbing on that side of the street. And my memory is the way we left it, and this goes back over a year ago, was that we'd be willing to go back and evaluate that once the project was bid out and under construction. It's really sort of a conversation to measure against the contingency that's available. But I've had no conversation with Matt Schuman or DPW about it. That's really just something we should probably talk about as a committee, maybe with some information either from Meg or from Matt, if that's something we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, we've been having conversations as part of the intersection project that we have starting shortly. And Kyle, I don't know if you've attended any of the public meetings that we had in reference to the the work that was going to happen along Pond Street. Brantwood.
I haven't, but I'm aware of it.
Okay, so I can send you a plan that shows what's going to happen to Brantwood and Pond.
Okay.
Basically, it's taking the intersection and shortening it so that the crosswalk from one side, across Brantwood at Pond is shorter for pedestrians. So basically it increases the sidewalk width on the we'll say like the school sign side of Brantwood.
Right.
But the DPW director has committed to repaving Brantwood Street Road. And so we will be doing that as part of the roadway project. And that work won't happen until this summer, till after the Lynch School project is substantially complete, because that entrance, as you're well aware,
Right. Oh,
is a
no, sure.
major.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
So that work will happen after sometime in July or August. I don't have the exact date yet.
Okay.
But we will be repaving that road in its entirety. So that's a little bit of update. We can talk about it more when we meet in person. And certainly as we have, dates, we'll have to let people know, obviously.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, moving on to meeting minutes. March 10th, has everyone had a chance to review? And I know some comments just came in.
Gita,
Gita,
Gita.
yeah.
Yeah, I got him.
Any other comments? Anyone want to make a motion?
I'm happy to make a motion. We approve the minutes of the 10th with Geeta's comments incorporated by Don.
Second.
Richard, all right. Okay, Frank?
Aye.
Okay, Lisa?
Yes.
All right, Brendan is not here. Todd?
Aye.
Geetha?
Hi.
All right, I'm abstaining because I was not here on the 10th. John?
Yes.
Colleen?
Aye.
And is Mark on yet? No, okay, so skip Mark. Don
Yes.
and Emily?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. They're all approved. Okay, moving on to Lynch Elementary, the project update from Andy.
Andrew, can you give me the sharing ability?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Right. Well, we're getting close. 2 more months. So, progress in March. We have substantially completed the pedestrian bridge foundation work at the end of March. I have some picture later that I can show. The setting and cleaning the brick, that is also done as well. We still have them coming back maybe one more day to touch up a few lower area. You know, they couldn't do it at the time because they were removing certain stuff from cleaning on site, so that they need to come back maybe one more day. Fire protection, the main line and the main branch, that's substantially completed in March. Phenolic panels, that's still ongoing. Made a lot of progress. Casework, second and third floor, a lot of progress. I mean, on the third floor, they only do like some of the casework in the hallway, but it's very near completion. Window also is very near completion as well. We're targeting to finish that all the window this month in April. Fiber optic line, it's done, installed in the MDF room by Verizon. Still ongoing, but it's still a little bit of work left. Transformer, it's been energized by Eversource. They came back and, you know, they said that the meter needs to be installed. So right now, I spoke to Eversource today. They have to shut off the power. That's a process that they have to go through. But we have power, but now they have to shut it off so Griffin can install to prep for the meter. And once that is done, they're gonna put the meter up. But we do have permanent power in the building. Begin installation of MEP finishes. So the plumber already started the plumbing fixture in the hallway and in the bathroom. So that's ongoing. Window testing, we have the first window testing batch. We test one skylight, 2 windows, and then we're gonna continue doing testing in April. MSBA, we're gonna have a Zoom call with them next week, and then now they want like to have monthly meeting when it's coming close to the substantial completion date. In April, we're gonna try to finish that meter installation with the building in April. HVAC startup, so we're still planning for that for April. We're targeting to finish like all of the exterior work, the phenolic panel, the windows, the curtain wall, ceiling grid installation as well in the building. So the last area that we want to hold until like toward the end of this month is the installation of the flooring. We want to, you know, get everybody out of the room before we do any flooring work. So that's probably going to happen at the end of April. Flooring delivery is going to happen in the next few weeks, and then we'll target for flooring installation at the end of the month. Gym equipment, those are already on site. As of last week, they were on site, like the basketball hoop. So we're going to start installing this week. They already started the installation of site finishes, sidewalk and flagpole. So that's all happening in April. We try to wrap up everything in April so we can do like floor cleaning, cleaning of the building. There'll be like probably the first, you know, week of May and second week of May, we're doing like the mostly flooring, starting from the upper floor down. Irrigation is going to do a lot of work on site in May. Same thing with the turf field. Playground equipment also, that's going to happen in May. And then, as I mentioned earlier, flooring work. So we're going to start from the top floor down. So the last area will be the first floor. So as you can see, that we're going to try that to wrap up that by mid-May. And then we have the bridge work that's coming, I think June, that will be delivered. And then we'll start the installation in July. Progress picture is the phenolic panels that's completed in the green roof, and then there's still, you know, they already started installing on the south elevation looking north. Window and curtain wall, we still have some metal panels that they have to do here, but a lot of progress with the curtain wall. So here's more curtain wall work and windows. The glaze blocking inside the gymnasium, I think as of right now, they have, mostly completed in the gym. The baffle ceiling grid, they started installing that last week, so it should be done this month. So you can see the skylights already in place. I believe this was the one that was tested. Yes, they tested the skylight here last week. They also here, and they already installed the metal ceiling here that you can see the color, the brown color here. Those are the metal ceiling. Plumbing fixture, they already start installing that as well from the third floor down. Finished plumbing fixture, the water fountain, installing that on the third floor and second floor. Tile work. This is the bathroom in the first floor. So they're making their way to the first floor. Casework. We continue doing this inside the classroom. I believe this is the art room. Continue on the second floor now. And then they already start installing the marker board and tack board. So here's a picture on the right-hand side here. This is the picture of the brick cleaning on the right-hand side. The left-hand side, looking toward here, they haven't cleaned this. This is like progress picture just to show the two different, this is what happened after the cleaning. This is before the cleaning of the brick. Again, they still have to come back and do like some minor at the bottom here. That some touch up that we saw. Gonna make them come back. So this is the picture of the window, one of the window tests that took place in April. Actually last week, sorry. And then we have another testing coming in April. So this is the bridge foundation work that's completed. The stair, this is an added work, but it's also poor. So right now, all we're waiting for is just to continue back in the summer when the bridge, after the time restriction, will come with the bridge and then install that and finish up some of the site work. So here's a photo looking at north side. There's still some metal panels to, like as you can see, the metal panels come in. There's still some over here that's still left. Some curtain wall, but there's a lot of progress on site. They already started the solar, the purlin on the other parking area, but this area they're still using this area to finish the window. There's some window, the operable window that they have to finish and before they do the solar work over here. But they have the solar panels itself on site already, but they're gonna start working on that next couple of weeks. Here's the progress looking from the south elevation. All the windows are in. There's some operable window. They have the operable window on site already. They're putting that together. They already start installing on the lower level, and they're gonna put those in on those. You see the white stuff, those are like just cover for the operable windows. The budget, as of right now, we're still on budget. Construction contingency, we still have available for construction contingency of 5,300,000. Owner soft cost contingency, we still have 126,000 of owner soft cost contingency. That is up to change order. I believe change order. Oops, sorry, hold on. So we're up to change order 10. And this here we have to as pending change order 11. That's going to be presented today. Some of the key item are like HVAC rooftop. We need to get that startup. Window curtain walls, those are ongoing. Casework, as you saw earlier, there's a lot of progress. The generator that got pushed a few weeks, but it's being delivered today. It's out shipping right now. It's being shipped right now, and we should get that in like maybe next week or the following weeks. But it's being shipped today. As of today, it's being shipped. Phenolic panels, that's ongoing. Lighting, there's been a lot of progress doing lighting on site. And then, as I mentioned, pedestrian bridge this summer. Any question on construction before we move to the change order?
I have one, Jay, real quick, and it's
Yes.
really for Andy and for Meg. Have we communicated to Nick and the field management committee when the Lynch Field is actually going to be available? And I'm asking because my sense is that construction fence is going to stay up for a good long time with all the site work that, continues. We had, I thought, at some point, some discussion about maybe allowing access to the field, but not the site. I'm not really quite sure how that works as a practical matter. So are we saying it's available starting with the fall season? Do we have a date? Should we be communicating a date back to Nick?
Go ahead, Meg.
My conversation with Nick was always that he could have it in September. And so I fully expect it to be, available to him then. For some reason, we can give him access earlier, we'll do so, but for his planning purposes, it's the fall.
Okay, just so he's not like renting out the field, days or a week or two before it's actually available is why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, I mean, Nick is a pretty smart guy. He knows he would know to ask. He wouldn't just do it.
Okay.
But, I'll make sure he's aware of it.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good question because we're planning to remove the temp fencing toward the end of this month, so we can do the landscaping work and the site work.
Andy, I have a quick question. When you said removing, what was the NOI order of conditions, whether the sheet pile for the bridge work, could that be left in place or that has to come out?
It's already it's going to be left in place. They already cut it down. That's part of the meeting, the Concom meeting that we went to, and they said it's fine. They cut it down and they're ready.
Okay.
Put the gravel over.
Okay.
So Andy, if when the fence comes down, do we have some sort of signage that we can still put out there that just says the site is still closed due to construction? That's kind of my concern. Is once the fence comes down, people may think, oh, I can hang out here, I can drive over here, and maybe even bring a team out here and play on the field.
Yeah, they'll put some temporary like snow fence and stuff still on the site that keeping people out. But we'll try to see if we can still keep at least the two entrances. They're going to remove the perimeter, but we'll coordinate with them. Try to keep the people off the site as long as we can. Okay. All right, let's go to so I have 12 PCO on this change order 11. And the first one, let me see. First one is PCO 13R2. This is for the this PCO is a credit for a portion of the length of the new sewer line main that was deleted. Through coordination between the site contractor and DPW, this was no longer the new sewer line is not needed. I'm sorry, not sewer line. Sewer manhole 307 is not needed. So the existing line can remain and not replacing on the existing sewer manhole with the new that they deleted the new sewer line, sewer manhole of 307. So the existing sewer manhole will be lined by the contractor instead of adding a new one. So they provided a credit of $13,750. PCO 46R2. This is for electrical and the tech outlet during the FF&E coordination. A number of electrical outlet and technology changes were made. So the owner added a field screen, the flat screen. So this is for the added electrical work for the outlets and the component, the control and the infrastructure for the screen related for the added screen. So this is for an additional of $22,652.68. PCO 65R1. This is through the EFPBC. The quantity of the EV charging station was reduced by 5. So that way we align with the number of the spaces for the future EV charging station spaces. So this was we got a credit back for $29,182.78. Next PCO is 69R1 added for knowledge flashing per RFI 228 to add $11,464.13. This is a coordination issue. There was an omission that was discovered during the coordination. So the ownership of some area of the flashing behind the metal panel was transferred from the roofer to the metal panel in order to streamline the installation. As part of the shop drawing review and envelope coordination, flashing was added to a field location to improve the detail. So basically they added the flashing for caulking at the storefront. This was missed by the design team, so they have to add the flashing. And it's for $11,464.13. The next one is PCO 74 for security equipment changes, adding $5,684.85. This PCO is for the provision of the security access. The owner requests for more access card, the lanyard, and the printing station for the security card. There was a credit for deletion of 2 workstation, but the overall cost is $5,684.85. Next is PCO 75. This is for the horizontal louver blind addition. Again, this is another owner's ad. This is for the entire building, and this is for the interior doors at the side lights and the window in the interior. Adding the louver blinds for all the classroom and the private offices for the entire building for $26,503.38. Next is PCO 81R1, the soffit level 2 at the elevator per RFI 184 for $4,999.13. So this was discovered during the MEP coordination. This is also another design omission. So a portion of the ceiling needed to be lower to change, from the acoustical ceiling tile to gypsum wallboard to better accommodate some of the mechanical above the ceiling. Instead of lowering the ceiling, they need to add it like potted ceiling with the vertical soffit in order to make it work. So this is for $4,999.13. PCO 83R1 spray foam deflection track. This is for $10,687.57. So the framing contractor made a recommendation to change the detail of the top of the stud. Originally, they have the closed cell spray insulation, and then with the deflection, it's going to crack the drywall. So the subcontractor saw that and they brought up to an RFI. So they have to change this to mineral wool, and additional labor was required. Originally, it was 17,000 that we negotiated down to $10,687.58. So they need to make the change from the spray foam to mineral wool insulation, and it's require a lot more labor. Again, this is for $10,687.58. PCO 84R1 in the OTPT swing. So this is another omission by the design team. There are two locations in the building where the OTPT swing is required as part of the school program of services. You know, the contract document did not include this, so this is a miss. So they have to add the beam, the vertical channel, and the diagonal braces at both locations in order to add the swing. So this is for additional $22,967.20. PCO 88R1. This is another additional request by the owner for the roller shade in the cafeteria. So originally we only have the sheer shade. So it was requested by the owner to add motorized blackout shade in the entire cafeteria. And this is for additional of $36,056.30. PCO 89 for security camera changes. So during the coordination at the, couple months ago, we had a meeting with the security consultant. They decided to change the location of the camera because one of the camera at the entrance is too high, so they need to change the location. But most of the work is already in place, the wiring and stuff. So changing the location occurs some cost. However, we deleted one of the camera, so the cost for that is $328.61. And then PCO 91 for the gym equipment controller. This is to add $15,650. So this is an owner's ad. So initially there are like about 14 switches in the gym equipment. So the electrician was suggesting to consolidate this into like one control to make it easier for operation, and the owner liked the idea, so they accept that. This is for better operation and fewer devices exposed on the wall. The cost is for the controller, the electrical rework, and the rewiring of the controller, and some masonry patching. So it's for $15,650.
Hey, Chris, and then I'm gonna go. So Chris, why don't you go first?
Sure. So thank you, Andy. My question is actually to Frank on 88R1 on the roller shades. So I know we had talked back with the dual pocket with both the screen and the blackout, and I thought the answer was no. Is this like to accommodate a shelter in place in the cafeteria, or can you give us a little more background on why it's necessary to go with the blackout shades in the cafeteria?
Andrew, do you have an answer to that?
Yes. I think it's looking at where the cafeteria is placed and that sun during the day. To use those projector screens, it'd be better to have this setup. It's only on those main windows. It's not on some of the larger areas. It's really just on those, I guess that main bank of windows there.
And so is the feeling that, so we did add frit there, although Chris Sharkey can better describe how much frit. So is the feeling that between the frit and the screen shades dropped, that room is just too dark to be able to use the projector? And do we know that it's too dark?
Yeah, I guess it would be the room is, or it would be the light coming in. I think the projectors would be kind of light wash on those screens. So it's really use them during the day. This is what was recommended.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. These will just help with some of that reflection or direct light on the projector screen.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Andy, I got a couple questions, I guess. First of all, who is the owner? And I'm assuming that's Frank or Andrew that are making these comments when you say that, or these requests? Can you
Um,
explain?
I think
Or is it a mix of DPW, school committee? I mean, owner's kind of vague, as to where these are coming from us, so we know, who's requesting these items.
so some of like the equipment, like for example, like the roller shade, the let me see where else. Some furniture, that was I believe school department, right? Andrew?
Yeah, that's correct. Andy and Jay. And then so on our end, Frank and I, we meet with Chrissy, the principal, or some of those, the gym teacher. We looked at some of the controls and try to find what's best for how they plan to use the building.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
past, a lot of times they've come to the committee first, so we get to see, not just get this on a Friday and try to, you get some background of what's going on and everything. So that's one question, I guess. The other one is, are the architects and engineers reviewing these costs?
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
I'm used to
Yes.
seeing deductions and such from, past projects. I know digging into, 25 and I think 74 and stuff. There's just stuff on those lists that don't even belong, but they're minor. But it's just a matter of, like 400, 500, 700 feet of conduit for one of them to get it. That's across the school. I mean, some of these things are just crazy. But we're not going to stop it now. And I guess the last comment is on the cards. When we buy 400, we're buying 400 cards, access cards. Who's in charge of those? Where do they go? Are they just in a desk at the office? Is that for Andrew or Frank? Or how do we manage a vast amount of like 400 cards, 400 lanyards? It's a good amount of equipment.
Yeah, I can take that, Jay. And so we currently distribute to our business office. So we'll be managing that, and that's really printing for those new cards and that new standard that we'll be using here for the
So
district.
the cards are will work at other schools too, not just for this.
Yeah,
Okay.
so separate from this, the town capital committee voted funds for us to bring that new system to the rest of the district this summer as well.
What system are you putting in?
So this is called a Vigilon, their access control system.
That's all I had. I mean,
Jay,
hopefully we get
also
some heads up on the next ones, I know it's coming quick because we're coming to the end, but even a
Yep.
week rather than a weekend.
yeah, some of this like
Yeah.
they do get reviewed by the MEP consultant, especially the electrical. That's why sometimes like it takes 1 or 2 weeks for us to get all the comments. It's because once we get it, we send it to the engineer for them to look at, especially like the mechanical and the electrical. So far, we don't have a lot of plumbing, but we've been getting a lot of and the design team as well, Jen Littlefield and Chris Shockey. Thomas from our office and myself, we review them. That's why we're going back and forth on them. A lot of them, like as you can see, revision 2, revision 2, revision 1. So every time we push back, they change the price and stuff. They ask them to lower. As I mentioned, like this spray foam, for example, it was used to be like 17,000 something. We knock it down. So yeah, there's been even the credit. Sometimes they give us very low credit. We push back and they give us higher. That's why some of them take a little bit time.
Okay.
So Andy, just because you mentioned spray foam, is it the first change order along the line of spray foam? Just curious. I mean, like why this has to come in? Just anyway, out of curiosity.
Yeah. So this one, this was brought to the design team through an RFI. Let me see which one. But so the framing, the drywall contractor, they saw that what we own in there is the closed cell spray foam, So if, let's say if they go ahead and do that, you know, like because those deflection frame need to move, and the closed cell, once you spray it, it's gonna be very, you know, stuck. It's gonna stuck there. It's not gonna allow for any movement on those deflection frame. So what we'll
Okay.
do is once the building move, it's gonna crack the drywall. You're gonna see cracks and stuff. So they saw that on another project, and they recommended like to use either open cell spray foam, or the mineral wool. The mineral wool is a lot more expensive and it's require a lot more labor, but then it's, you know, the right way to do it. So what happened is the design team call for, you know, stop the, you know, delete the part of that spray foam on the top of the deflection frame and call for the mineral wool. So that's why it's a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
We're glad that we, you know, caught it, but it was like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Any other questions for Andy?
I
All right.
apologize for getting some of these changes at the last minute, but I mean, like we're getting close here, so that's why.
Okay.
So moving forward, I think whenever some PCO are ready, we'll notify Jay, so that way the team have a chance to review it.
That'd be helpful. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. I know
Yeah.
it's moving quick.
Yep.
Okay. I think we're good, and moving on to the high school with an update on the gym from Meg.
Excuse me, gym floor project is going well. They're starting demolition of the floor. They took down all the equipment and starting on the floor demolition. So yeah, it's moving along, and the coordination with the school is going very well. So we're happy about that. So that's really it. I don't have much more to
Okay.
say about that. It's gonna, you know, move along quite smoothly, I think. I don't have the agenda in front of me, so I don't know if
This, the bid
uh,
opening, update on the bid
bid
opening.
opening. Yeah, so we had the bid opening last week for the underside corrosion inhibitor. We had 4 bids. They ranged quite substantially, from the low bid being $698,000 to the high bid being $1.9 million. So we have SG&H has performed a reference check on the low bidder. They're called the Olson Company, and they are very qualified to do the work. I am not positive that they're not going to back out, however. So I have a meeting with them tomorrow. They want to look at the school again, so I'm going to give them the opportunity to do so. If they're going to back out, they're going to back out. There's zero opportunity for them to increase their bid. So it's not like looking at the school will give them the opportunity to increase their bid. Their bid is their bid, and if they're still comfortable after they visit the school tomorrow, then we'll be able to award a contract. If they pull out, because they're nervous that they were so much lower, even though they're still slightly higher than our estimate, then I'm not sure what we'll do. We'll have to regroup and either rebid it with a smaller scope or seek additional funding, which at this point, there's really not enough time to do that before Springtown meeting. So fingers crossed we don't have to go down that. But because the $698,000 is higher than our estimate, it cuts into the balance that we had available that was supposed to be used to get SG&H under contract to continue the topside engineering. So what we've done is we've increased the request for Springtown meeting for that project. We've increased it by, I don't have my notes, but maybe
I think it was
$95,000.
95,000, Meg, right? We went from 355 to 450.
So yeah, so our request is now $450,000, which would mean that the engineering work can't start until that's after town meeting closes. So that project's gonna be a little bit behind schedule. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get it done over the summer. So we're gonna have, that's gonna require a lot of coordination with the schools after we get the appropriation. So that's about it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can award this contract and get moving on the underside. That work wouldn't start until after school gets out, so we do have some time to figure it out.
They're a reputable company, and always hope, and that's all they do is bridge work and underside work. So
They're totally qualified to do the work. I think they're just spooked, right? Because everybody, they're like, what did we miss? And I'm like, you didn't miss anything. You're over our budget, so your number's good. So we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions for Meg, or we'll move on to town meeting?
I just
Okay,
have a
Chris.
curious question,
Oh.
with the low bidder, do they know the other bid's value at this point, or we don't share, correct?
Oh, no, we
Because you
share.
said,
It's a
right,
public.
Yeah,
Meg,
it's
that
public.
they may back out or not. I was just wondering what could be the reason.
Well, first of all, every bid opening is public, so they are aware of the
Okay.
numbers. And the reason they might back out is just they might question their numbers. They might be like, listen, we missed something and we don't want to take a chance. And, that's a business decision on their part. So I'm hoping that when they see the site and they, get down there, that they are comfortable with their number.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
Chris, you want to start the town
Yeah.
meeting?
Thanks. So this is a good segue. I think I had 4 things on the agenda. Sorry, I'm driving right now. I'm on the lever connector, so I'm doing this from memory. But starting with the surface supply corrosion inhibitor. So when Meg says we just want the committee to know that if you remember from previous town meetings, the request, the large funding request we made for the surface supply corrosion inhibitor, that was a joint article. We told town meeting we'd be coming back in the spring for additional funding that would keep SG&H moving for topside design and also give us some money to start that work. And we told them it would be a lot less money than what we asked for down below. And even though this low bidder is above what we estimated, that would still be the case. But this is so the article that Meg is referring to is actually being put forward by the Capital Planning Committee. Internally we had talked about it being something around 355. We may have even not sure that was in my presentation at the town meeting. We just said it was going to be substantially less than what we've asked for before, and so now that's going to be 450. So that's coming out of the Building Stabilization Fund, I believe, right, Meg?
yes.
Yeah. So I want the EFPBC to be aware of that. Not tonight, but maybe at our next meeting. We don't take up financial articles in the spring until the first meeting in May. It might be appropriate for the EFPBC to take a position on that article. We certainly could recommend favorable action, since this is really kind of phase 2 of work that we've previously on board talking, and asked for support on. So we can talk about, but let's be sure that the low jump on us. So that was one article that's it's on the warrant for the spring. The other I want to make you guys aware of is the Morocco culvert. So this is the last in a series of projects that's been going on, like I think almost 20 years for flood mitigation. Culvert project, due to some complexities with the MBTA and some requirements that they've thrown at us around, I guess, protecting the existing culvert that's already there, has added some delay and complexity to the project. The culvert's not an EFPBC project. It never has been, but once that work is done, it will substantially impact the flooding risk on that site. So there is an article coming forward sponsored by the select board funding due to some of the Meg can offer more detail on that if people have questions, but related to that, there is another capital planning article on the warrant, which is a funding request for us to begin the FEMA floodplain remapping process, which we had always committed to do in Winchester once we got all the flood mitigation projects done. This article may be of interest to the EF because we VHB, we know it will, that the plane is going to recede from the school. So when the new Morocco that is, whether it's, you know, demo and a new build, or it's like a reno and expansion of the existing, a reduced floodplain will certainly be of tremendous help to the kind of design and construction process. It'll kind of give us a bigger canvas. To be aware that that's on the warrant, and that particular article for the remapping also might be something EFC might want to take position. But we can talk about that at your meeting. And then the fourth item, I think, is really a nothing burger tonight. The Committee on Government Regulations, as a part of their decennial review of the bylaws, have welcomed some input in individual boards and committees for proposed bylaw changes. There were some changes that were proposed by the finance committee that affected the scope of EFPBC. However, it appears that the so the select board is actually voting tonight on some proposed bylaw changes, and there appears to be nothing in there anymore that affects the EFPBC. But we weren't really sure that till the select board package got published. So I think that's it on those items.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any questions for Chris? All right, Morocco, Chris again, MSBA update.
Yeah, so we got a final draft of the statement of interest. The SOI window closes on the 11th, and just as we did in what we did for VO, we did it for the high school, and we did it for Lynch. We are submitting to the MSBA jointly between the select board and the school committee the statement of interest for Morocco for the core replacement program. Unlike prior years where we have submitted SOIs on 3 criteria, those being alleviating current existing severe overcrowding being number 1. Number 2 would be eliminating projected overcrowding. Just deals with the existing deficiencies in the design and the condition of the building. Because we do not have overcrowding today, that criteria is not something we're responding to. So the SOI is a bit shorter than it's been in the past. It just seeks to avoid future overcrowding. It does cite the UMass Donahue enrollment report that you all saw back in February in the UMass presentation. And it also just describes the current condition of the building. It's very current in terms of recognizing the recent roof work, the boiler replacement, and the new electrical panels. So the select board is going to be discussing that tonight, probably around 7:45, I think, and hopefully voting on that. And then the school committee will be voting on it on Thursday. And then Andrew and Frank will be submitting that by the end of the week. And then we just wait and see. We won't hear anything from the MS.
We lost you, Chris.
Oh, sorry, I was in a dry spot there. I'm not sure where it be, but their select board is voting on the statement of interest tonight. So school committee, I think, is scheduled to vote on Thursday, and it'll get submitted by the end of the week. And then we kind of just go into a wait and see mode. We won't hear anything from the MSBA until November or December.
Okay. Any questions on the submission?
I want to keep but I guess the statement, if just correct my memory, it doesn't need to go with the projected construction cost or anything per se, right, Chris? I think
No,
so.
there's no projected construction cost
Okay.
because but I'm glad you asked that question. because there's no design, there's no
Yeah.
space program, there's nothing.
Alright.
All this is it answers in very explicit ways, very specific questions that the MSBA is asking about the building, but no, there's no preconception of what a new Morocco is, and that's why there's no representation of costs or anything. The only thing we do acknowledge in the SOI are the our renewal and replacement costs that we do face. There's just by year we have about $22 million in renewal and replacement costs projected in the next 5 or 6 years. It's not all critical. Some of it's critical, some of it's urgent, and some of it is, highly recommended, but it's definitely pushing $20 million. And that's because when we did the life extension plan, there was a lot that we left on the table because we were deliberately trying to just put in the investment in the building to extend it till 2020, not fix everything in the building.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Okay. Manager's letter. Meg, again, you're up.
I
Okay.
think Andrew has the letter. He can share it on screen, Meg.
It's up. Yep.
Yeah, it's there. Yep. So we have Braith's monthly payment of $3,995,510.45. Tape's invoice for $132,833.87. Triumph's monthly invoice for $29,850. EarthCam's invoice for $565. Those are the payment authorizations. And then we have one spending authorization that Andy went over, change order number 11 for $114,061.08.
Any questions for Meg? All right. Anyone want to make a motion?
Yeah, move to approve the payment authorizations and spending authorization as outlined by Meg White.
Second, Don.
Thank you. Okay, roll call. Frank?
Aye.
Lisa?
Yes.
Todd?
Aye.
Etha?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Pauline?
Aye.
Chris?
That we have many countries that are coming to negotiate.
Oh, someone's got the... Chris?
I'm
Okay.
sorry, I was on mute. Yes.
All right. And we have Richard
Aye.
and Emily.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all set. Next dates, we have 4/28. And then we had May on the agenda, and I forget what date we were saying in May, but it's blank on the agenda. Chris, do you remember?
Well, we've got a little bit of head scratching to do because with town meeting coming, and town meeting does meet on Mondays. I think what I'd like to do is look at the May schedule with you and Meg and see if we can propose some dates to the EFPBC, and if need be, if people can swing it, maybe we have a meeting at 5:30 instead of 6 or something.
Yeah.
They're just we've had to do that before, and I'm sorry that we have to do it, but we may need to have that conversation. But I just need to sit down with Meg and look at those dates, and we can maybe through a doodle poll or a mass email, we can just reach out to folks and see what works.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for anyone? Anything? No? Okay, we're good. Motion to adjourn.
So move 7:01.
Second.
Richard has a
I
question.
know, Richard has his hand up.
Yeah, quick question. Doesn't that April 28th is the opening night of town meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, that conflicts also.
It is.
Yeah, so but it's not the first meeting of the month though, so we're not going to get the monthly update from Andy. So that may be a pretty short meeting. But that may be one where we have to go at 5:30, or maybe we go at 6 and, we're out quickly. But I haven't even confirmed yet, Meg, with our new moderator, what is the actual time? When are we starting town meeting? Do we know?
I haven't heard that there's been any change, so I would assume it's the same.
The things that I've seen say 6:30, so.
Yeah,
on the
that's what I,
28th.
Okay.
yep.
So that may be one where we have to go 5:30, but I just like to, Jay, let's maybe spend a little time looking at that. We could talk
Yeah.
to Meg, and maybe that I can reach out to the moderator, and we'll figure it out and let people know what's up.
And it's gonna depend if Meg needs us or not. If there's no payments, we might not even have to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine I'll have some. This was a pretty light letter today because I don't have all of them, but
Okay.
yeah.
The game plan if we don't get the high school contract. Don't know.
I don't know yet. We would either reduce the scope of work and bid it again,
Okay.
or we would somehow try to figure out how to come up with the money. But yeah, I don't know yet. There's really only a couple options. Do nothing or rebid it, you know.
Reduce the area maybe. Don't-
Pardon me?
Reduce the area, underside area.
Yeah. Yeah, we would have to reduce the area.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get a roll call to close. Frank? Lisa?
Yes.
Sorry, Jay. Aye.
Sorry, Todd?
Yes.
Geetha?
Yes.
John? We lost him.
Aye.
Thank you. Colleen?
Aye.
Richard?
Aye.
Don?
Yes.
And Emily?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jay.
Good night,
everybody.
Take care.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.